I went camping in the woods alone, and I'm still scared as I say this. I needed to get away from everything. My girlfriend Lisa had just broken up with me, my boss was making my life hell at work, and my apartment felt like a prison. So last weekend, I grabbed my old camping gear and drove 3 hours to this remote campground in the mountains that my dad used to take me to when I was a kid. The place was completely empty, which was exactly what I wanted. No other cars in the parking area, no noise except birds and wind through the trees. I set up my tent near the lake, far from the main camping area, and spent the day hiking and trying to clear my head. Everything was perfect until around midnight. I was lying in my sleeping bag, finally feeling relaxed for the first time in weeks, when I heard voices. Not close, but definitely human voices carrying through the trees. At first I thought maybe some other campers had arrived late and were setting up in the dark, but these voices sounded weird, like they were whispering but loud enough for me to hear fragments of words. I unzipped my tent and stuck my head out. The voices stopped immediately. Complete silence except for my heart pounding. I waited about 10 minutes, then crawled back into my sleeping bag thinking I'd imagined it. 20 minutes later, they started again. This time I could make out what sounded like my name. Mike? Mike? It was so faint I wasn't sure, but it made my skin crawl. Nobody knew I was here. I hadn't told anyone where I was going. I grabbed my flashlight and crawled out of the tent. The voices stopped again the second I moved. I swept the flashlight beam across the trees, but saw nothing except shadows that seemed to move when the light hit them. I called out, "Hello? Is someone there?" My voice sounded tiny in the darkness. No response. Just that heavy silence that makes you feel like you're being watched. I went back to my tent, but couldn't sleep. Every few minutes, I'd hear what sounded like footsteps circling my campsite. Slow, deliberate steps on the dried leaves. I'd grab my flashlight and look out, but there was never anything there. Around 3 a.m., the voices came back. This time they were closer, and I could clearly hear them saying my name. "Mike, come here, Mike," in this sing-song way that made my blood freeze. I packed up my entire campsite in the dark, throwing everything into my car as fast as possible. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the tent folded. The whole time, I felt like something was watching me from the tree line. I drove straight home at 4 a.m., checking my rearview mirror the entire way, convinced I'd see someone following me. I didn't sleep for 2 days after that. But here's the part that still gives me nightmares. 3 days later, I was telling my coworker Jake about the creepy camping trip. He got this weird look on his face and asked exactly where I'd gone camping. When I told him, he went pale. He said, "Dude, you know about that place, right?" Turns out that campground had been closed for 2 years after a family went missing there. They found their campsite abandoned, but never found the family. Jake showed me a news article on his phone. The missing family's last name was Mitchell. The dad's name was Michael. Same as mine, just the full version. He said locals won't go near that area anymore because hikers keep reporting voices in the woods calling out, "Michael, Michael." I still don't know what I heard that night, but I've never gone camping alone since, and I definitely won't go back to that place. Sometimes when I'm lying in bed at night, I swear I can still hear those voices calling my name through the darkness.